Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to Blackbushe Airport. And look at that, this is the Just Flight Turbo Arrow 4 that we're going to be flying today. This is a first impressions flight, so this isn't a full-on review. It's really literally just you and me taking a ride in this aircraft for the first time, having not really studied the manual in any depth at all, and just seeing how she performs and what she actually does, and just learning about it really as together as we go up. Now, this scenery, just a quick note on this is LN Design's Blackbushe Airport. For the time being anyway, I don't know how long this goes on for, but the sales of this piece of scenery actually go to support a charity called Airability, which is based at Blackbushe Airport and which helps disabled people to get into flying, to fly aircraft and other activities around aviation. So it's a really cracking cause, and if you're at all interested in flying at Blackbushe, then this is one I can heartily recommend to you, because it just looks absolutely beautiful. And I'm really excited to be taking this aircraft up. It looks interesting. I mainly fly warbirds, so it's good to try out the latest GA that's available for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Well, here we are in the cockpit of the Turbo Arrow now, and they've done a nice job of it. I like steam gauges, and one of the things that attracted me to this was the fact that it's a traditional steam gauge cockpit. I normally fly warbirds, or this is in P3D, or the A-28R Bonanza, which is the main GA aircraft that I fly, and glass cockpits isn't something that I'm particularly used to or particularly prefer. So yeah, it's good to see. The reason why I've come about to this is because I was looking for a good GA aircraft to fly in Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm not using Microsoft Flight Sim that much, mainly using P3D. I fly A2A in P3D. There's no A2A available yet in Microsoft Flight Sim. I know it's coming soon. And do you know what? I got a bit of a reduction on this because I own this aircraft in FSX. So I thought, what the hell, let's go and buy it. And seeing some amazing things. The guys at Sky Lounge TV have recommended it in the work that they've been doing. I saw the video from the corporate pilot dad on YouTube. He did a great comparison between the two aircraft, the turbo and the non-turbo. I had this aircraft in FSX. I probably flew it for one video flight and maybe once or twice after that, and left it because I just love the A2A aircraft in that. I'm not going to go into that too much because you're watching this because you're probably interested in this one. Yeah, it certainly looks the part, doesn't it? So we've got this nice iPad thing here, which gives us some more options. One of the interesting things I noticed is that it now has got this state saving, which is something you see in A2A, but basically, and I don't know how much detail it goes into in this, but presumably that means whatever state you leave the aircraft in is the state you will find it. I'm guessing that's things like fuel levels, that kind of stuff. That's what that is. That's what that's looking at. So that's quite a nice feature. And also we can use this to change our chocks, our tie downs, deploy the tow bar, open and close doors, you know, what state you want it to start off in. You sort of kind of quick start things, charge the battery, all that kind of good stuff. So that's pretty good. They're handy features to have, I must admit. Just checking the door a moment. Yeah, that is actually closed, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Let's open it. While we're sitting talking, let's open that door. And boof. There we go. So yeah, that's how I've ended up with this. I love the scenery in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, but have just not really had anything in particular to fly. So I'm looking for something that's better than the default, and this looks like, for the time being, certainly until A2A bring theirs out, this could well be it. So we're going to take a flight from here at Blackbushe down to Lydd. We're going to be using Burning Blue Design's Lydd. They've done a cracking job of it. and nice place to fly into. So, and it should be a nice route as well. Take us over some of the southeast of England, and hopefully nice scenery. So we're going to assume you can do the sort of preliminary checks in this. We're going to assume that we've walked around and done all that and checked the doors from the outside and that kind of thing, and removed the chocks and the tie downs. And we're going to go straight into the first thing, really. So the first thing here is the before start checklist. So we've got brakes, which is set. Circuit breakers, let's get rid of that, which are all in. Alternate air, or alternating air rather, or alternate air, let's get it right. God, how many times do you have to say that? Is off. Propeller is fully forward. I did notice I had a little play with this briefly, and I did notice there's a bit of a lag between where you put your controller in the physical world, if you've got a throttle quadrant, and what happens here, but that's fine. It's probably just trying to simulate the rate at which you can actually physically move that lever. So no big problem there. Avionics are off. There's no, that I can see, master avionics switch in this. So we're just looking at making sure that all the radios are in the off position, and they are. Fuel selector desired tank. We want to start on the left, and that's where it is at the moment. That's all good. Throttle, we are going to crack open just a wee bit. And now we will switch on the, where's it gone? I've noticed a bit of a difference in the checklist. It's saying to put the alternator and battery on at the same time straight away. In the kind of guided flight, which I had a quick look at, it says to put the battery on first and then the alternator once you started the engine. I'm going to follow the checklist, and we'll put both on at the same time. Okay, quick look around. Let's check the fuel just to be doubly sure. That's fine. That little orange flashing light there. This aircraft is fitted with an automatic gear extension system, and that is flashing there because we've got it switched off for when we're sort of landing, and certainly when we're on the ground and doing takeoff. You want to have that off. I guess that's just a safety thing. I've never flown an aircraft with that feature in it, so. Yeah, that is a new one to me. Where did we get to? We've got that on, we've got that on, we've got that on. Put the fuel pump to low, and then we're going to prime it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we'll bring the mixture back down there. Right, here we go. Everyone out of the way, clear prop. We're about to swing the old motor, and at the same time I'm going to get my hand on the mixture lever so that we can push that forward when the aircraft actually catches. So here we go, let's start her up. No start. Let's try that again, shall we? Oh, hello. Why has the mouse... There we go. Let's try that again. We've got fuel flow. Prime it. Reduce it down. Let's give her another start. Let's just check the throttle a little bit. No start. Okay. A bit more prime, but hardly anything. I don't want to over prime it. I don't know if this engine will flood, but we don't want to risk that. Let's see if we can get this thing to start now. There we go. Mixture into rich. Bring that throttle back down again. We want about 1400 RPM. Quick look at our oil pressure. Oil pressure's good. Happy with that. Okay. Now we just let our engine warm up. back again on the RPM. There is a lag between the throttle input and what you actually get out of it. I guess that's because of the turbo. I don't have a huge amount of experience with turbo, so I'm not going to pretend that I do know all about them. But there's definitely a bit of a lag there that you have to keep an eye on. Okay. Everything looking good. Let's bring our radios to life. We're not going to be, we're not actually going to be using them. I have no idea how to turn that on. I haven't read the instruction manual closely. And I can turn the dial. I can't seem to actually switch that on there, so just as well we're not using it. Hey, that's something to check in the manual. I always find it quite useful actually with this sort of thing. When I get a new aircraft, I tend to just take it up and see how it plays, see how it feels, and you know, learn. It's almost like learning the hard way what the issues might be, and yeah, that's just one thing. Learning what the issues might be, and it's little things like that. I now know that if I want to use the radios, I need to actually look up and find out why I can't move those. But nothing I do around here seems to move that. So maybe that's not mapped, or maybe that's not a feature. I doubt it somehow. I think they would probably have that in there. But anyway, I can't seem to do much with that. We're not really going to be using any of this anyway. I'm certainly not going to be using the GPS. So we are fine with it. How are we looking over here with our T's and P's? All temperature is good. That's absolutely fine. Okay, let's taxi out. So bear with me while I just adjust the positioning here. Okay, so a quick look around, nothing's coming. Release the brake. Just check the brakes, brakes are good. Now we don't want too much power. Something I love about this is that the ground handling is a lot better. I had a quick taxi around and the ground handling is a lot better than the other aircraft. It's not quite so jerky, not quite so bonkers. It feels a little bit more realistic, so they've done a cracking job with that. So let's just stop here and then we can do our ground check. So let's set the parking brake. And we are going to check that the prop's fully forward, which it is. I haven't leaned the mixture for taxiing because we're not going that far. And strangely, it doesn't actually talk about that in the manual, but I would naturally want to lean. Certainly if I was doing any extended ground ops, I'd be wanting to lean that. So we're at 2000 RPM. Get there. We're going to check the mags for maximum 175 RPM drop. That's good. Now we check the left. That's good. So that's all well. We check our suction. That's absolutely fine. Have a look around. Check our T's and P's. That's good. Have a quick look down here at the yeah, that's okay. Enunciator check. Can't see the button. Is that it? Yeah. So that's all working nicely. And we're going to now cycle the prop. 1 RPM drop, 2, and another. Quickly check the alternate air to make sure nothing changes. That's fine. And oh yeah, let's fuel pump off. Check the fuel pressure. Fuel pressure's still good. Happy with that. And That's good, that's good, that's good. Brilliant. Let's bring the throttle back. Okay, so before takeoff checklist, this is the all-important one, because you don't want to take off with bits falling off. So we've got battery and alternator are both on. Flight instruments are looking good. The fuel selector is as required. We've still got it on the left tank. Fuel pump back onto low. Quick look at the engine. Everything's good. Happy with that. Alternate air is closed. Mixture set. Propellers set. Flaps. We'll give them 1 notch. There we go. Yeah, that's good. Trim we'll leave as it is in neutral. And we are... Oh yeah, let's check the controls. Full and free. Yeah, okay, that's good. And doors are latched. Boom. Boom. That's why we do checks, folks. Okay, let's line up on the runway now. I'm noticing this, I don't know if it's my scenery, but there is a slight hump coming onto the runway there in the scenery, which may be in real life. I'm not sure, I've not really taken off from Blackbushe in real life. Let's have a look. I suspect it's probably not quite as big as that. Okay, so there we go. Quick look around. Just make sure everything is good. Everything is where we want it. Landing lights on. Pitot heat on. Yes, we should have had the landing lights on before we entered the runway. I know. Right, let's go. So, smoothly apply power. Brakes are still on. I'm going to release the brakes now. Going all the way with the power. Yeah, ground handling is much better with this. Watching the speed. Oh, there we go. Gear up. It does feel absolutely wonderful, I have to say. It feels really good. Really good. Right. Let's bring the flap all the way up. Okay, let's start a left turn now. Going to ease off a little bit. Let's bring the power back ever so slightly. Should have checked what the cruise power settings are really. We're not going to go too high in this. Of course, we've got the advantage with this in that if we wanted to, we could go a lot higher than the normal version. But for this bit, we're not going to take it too high. Nice. Yeah, it's quite nice and stable. It feels it has a nice feel to it. It doesn't feel as jittery as the default ones, that's for sure. Let's trim her a little bit. Landing light off now. Farnborough radar saying, what the hell is he doing? No one's authorised him to do this. That's Burning Blue Farnborough down there, Burning Blue Designs. Lovely. Nice bit of history there. Well, I've got to say, so far this is actually a real pleasure, and I've not been spending a great deal of time in this simulator purely because there wasn't much that I wanted to fly, but I've got to say, everyone that said this was a vast improvement on default was absolutely right so far. Feels very nice, and it's, you know, it's a shame not to use this simulator because, let's face it, the scenery is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I love P3D for the high accuracy, high realistic, high fidelity aircraft that we can have in it at the moment, simply because of the way it's open up to developers to be able to do that. But you know, the landscape, the clouds, the sky in this simulator are absolutely incredible. They really are. So we're just coming over a army training area here. Hopefully they won't take any pot shots at us. Probably not really meant to be flying over here like this. But that's the beauty of a simulator. You can do as you will. And if you want to, you can make it hyper-realistic. That's something I want to try. I'm going to try and tune to Occam VOR. Let's have a look at that. 115.3. Ooh, come on. 115. Some more 3. Back on track. Yeah, I don't think this is on, and I still don't know how to do that. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are not getting anything. So let's quickly have a look at the manual. Look, with the engine running, starting to switch on the Okay, how do I switch it on? That turns the dial, that turns that dial. Ah! Wow, that's a close, that is a close click spot. There we go, right, that's active now. Blimey. To search for that. There we go. It's probably just me being stupid. I guess if you're used to the Just Flight system, then maybe that is intuitive. So we're just coming over Guildford here. Let's have a look at Guildford. Trying to spy the cathedral. That might be it over there. I think it might be it over there, and you have no idea where I'm looking, so that's not very helpful, really, is it? yeah, I mean the scenery really is just absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's lean a little bit. We're just going up to 3,000 feet, so I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's neither here nor there. Let's have a quick look at the EGT. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is to get rid of that orange flashing light. Let's just put that into the middle position. So that means it's armed now. I think if I go below 84 knots, that will come on. That's just amazing. This is such a great time for simulators. I think it's a time when perhaps we have to be a bit patient to wait for all the really cool stuff to come through, but this simulator has got such potential. You know, once you can get active sky style or active sky itself, weather injection, please God Asobo, please allow the Parallel 42 guys to get chase plane into this, because their camera system is just incredible, and I, as a video maker, I miss it like hell, and I think as a sim pilot I also miss it. But yeah, the camera system that's in this just it's just not as good as chase plane. In my personal opinion, you might think differently, especially if you've not used chase plane and you're well versed with this camera system, but chase plane is just so intuitive, so you've got so much control over it. There's so many things that you can do with it that I just don't seem to be able to do in this. Which reminds me, let's have a look outside. If I can hoist the game controller that's currently on the floor. Here we go. Let's get her back. Let's have a look outside. So there we go, there's a hightail. They introduced the hightail, I believe, because it was felt that it was out of drag and it would increase the speed ever so slightly, and I think it increases it by something like 5 or 6 knots, so it's not going to turn it into an F-16, but it will have a noticeable increase, and it kind of looks different. Let's see if we can't just slip over to here. Yeah, that's the one I want, but okay. This is what I'm talking about with the camera system. Let's see, there we go. So yeah, it's a good looking aircraft with that high tail actually. Never really thought of it before. I love the V-tail on the Bonanza that I fly in P3D, but that does look pretty good. Pretty snazzy. Right, let's just jump in before we totally lose control of where we're going. Trying to direct the camera with the game controller and flying at the same time does not mix. So at the moment, in terms of cruising, I can't remember what excuse me, what the proper settings are. So I'm just looking at my speed. I've wound the RPM back to I don't know, what's that, 2,300, 350, round about there. I'll just bring that back a little bit more. manifold pressure is what's that, 27, about 27 inches, and our speed indicated is 120, so I'm happy with that. We're not trying to race anybody, and everything seems to be working nicely. Just having a quick look at the fuel there. So over here we have Gatwick. Don't you start stuttering now. So this is just the base Gatwick that comes with it. And I kind of know Gatwick, or certainly from a long time ago, when I trained as an air traffic controller, which is another story. I spent some time at Gatwick after I'd done my aerodrome control rating, just to have some kind of hands-on time here really, and it was incredibly exciting, very interesting. Since then, flown out of it for business and holidays. Yeah, it's kind of like the real thing, but not particularly. But it's enough that you'd recognise it. Again, this scenery in the sim just showing its strength there with the ground objects, the car parks, all that kind of stuff, all included in there. It is a good sim for that, that's for sure. Right, bit of clouds here. Let's just move our way around this. Quite a nice day for flying, not much in the way of wind. Where are we in terms of, let's have a look at the map. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to plot the Lydd VOR in. What's that? 114.05. 114. Come here. There we go. That's active. Let's see what radial we are on at the moment. To say, trying to use the mouse wheel on this mouse sometimes isn't all that easy. So what are we? So we're on the 101 degree radial, inbound to Lydd VOR. And we've gone off course because I've been prattling about. Yeah, I honestly think until the A2A stuff comes out, I would be more than happy flying around in this. It certainly feels a heck of a lot more realistic than the default. It feels like it has how to describe it? It feels like it feels like an aircraft in the air rather than you're flying a computer game, if that makes sense. And that's not putting down the default aircraft by any stretch, and it's not being elitist or anything like that. It's just trying to describe how it feels really, and it doesn't feel twitchy or kind of GTA-ish. It actually feels like you're going through air. Isn't that just beautiful? I mean, that is so realistic, ridiculously realistic. I mean, jumping out of this into P3D for the scenery would be wouldn't be quite the same. In P3D I use, certainly for the UK, I use Orbex True Earth, which is certainly a massive improvement on default in P3D. but the lighting and the smoothness in this just kind of has an edge really. The resolution of the ground seems to be better as well. When you get to lower level, it's not quite so blocky and pixelated. Let's head back on course now. So we're just going to be overhead East Grinstead, and that's the Weir Reservoir, is that? Have I got that right? I'll do it from a map, didn't keep moving. Come here. Behave yourself. Weirwood Reservoir. That is just down there, off the wing. Quick look around, I suddenly realised, okay, some space in the back there, nice. Guessing we've got dome lights that work, yeah. That doesn't do anything. Guessing the blinds, yeah, some blinds work. Come back on track, you. You're a silly sausage, you're going everywhere. Yeah, I've got to say this is a bit of alright, isn't it? Some quick look at T's and P's. Fuel is hardly dropped at all. Ah, okay. I know what's going on here. I know what's going on here. Have we got auto fuel tank? Excellent. We have. Get out of it. Get out of it. We know what we're doing. I couldn't understand why the fuel levels were so similar. And I just realised it's because this has that auto fuel tank swapping thing on it. And I had failed to take that off. So it was swapping tanks for me. That explains that. Oh, that is just stunning, isn't it? So realistic. So over there is Royal Tunbridge Wells. For anyone who knows the area. So why don't we take her up? Let's take her up. See what we can get. So according to the blurb, the best rate of climb is about 97 knots. So let's try and get us there. I guess this is all very well, but does this aircraft have oxygen? Certainly give us good performance at this altitude anyway, I would imagine, but I'm not seeing pardon me if I'm being stupid, but I'm not seeing oxygen anywhere. And I've no idea if this simulates hypoxia. So we're not going to take any chances. Oh my lord, look at that. The clouds look so good in this. I know that there's the issue with it not necessarily being realistic weather at the moment in terms of real world weather or live weather and being able to select historical weather, but from a visual point of view, that just looks gorgeous. Let's just level out a bit. I honestly think if Asobo can work with the developers to allow the high quality, high realistic aircraft, weather, all that kind of stuff, then this sim would just be knockout. It would be beyond belief. Check over there, lean a little bit more. So just out of interest, let's see what happens as we pull back on the mixture. Wow, the EGT rising there quite significantly. There we go. Didn't really notice much of a drop in the sound, but certainly noticed the EGT drop there. So I'm going to kind of leave it there really. We're quite leaned out, but we're getting good power, speed is fine. Getting some good economy there. Let's have a quick look now that we've turned off auto tank. So let's just quickly swap them now. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to stick it on autopilot so we can get some good outside shots, because it's very difficult with this controller to try and do everything. So let's plumb in the heading. Come on. That's round about. That's where we want to be. So autopilot on, heading engage. Okay. That's looking good. Okay, let's have a look outside. Rightio, so coast ahead. We are rather high now, so let's come off on, we'll turn off autopilot now that we're not doing a little photo shoot. Come off the power, put the mixture in a little bit, and let's go this way. So we're kind of heading over towards Rye, letting down now. Don't panic. So what I am going to do is you are coming up. There we go. Flashy lights. That's the gear horn activating there because I'm pulling the power right back as we descend. Quite rightly it's thinking, hang on a minute, you're pulling the power back, but you're not dangling your Dunlops. But we're not coming into land, so it's just giving us a little warning just to be careful. Helpful little aeroplane. Good look at everything, that's good. EGT has dropped right down now because we pulled the power back. I'm going to go to fully rich because we're going to be coming down quite low now. Bit of buffeting. Just beautiful. It's quite a fast descent this, so I'm just keeping an eye on the speed there, making sure that we don't overcook it. Cannot wait to see how this feels on the approach. Approach is one of my favourite phases of flight. There's just something about the when you're there, you know, and you're kind of hanging in the air as you come in, and you're using the throttle for your altitude and the attitude for your speed and all that kind of stuff. There's just something beautiful about it. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just a bit stupid like that, but I do like it. Just passing through 5,000 now. Just continue to let down over the sea. Look at T's and P's, everything's good. For landing we want to be on the fullest tank, and we are still on left tank, and the fullest tank is left tank, so I think we'll probably end up just leaving it there. I can't see we're going to burn that much more between now and landing. Look at that, amazing. There's the nuclear power station just on the tip of that kind of shark fin shaped piece of land there. Using the height quite nicely now. At 3,000, speed is good. If we were being proper pilots, we wouldn't be doing such a steep descent like this. Let's face it. Anyone for a swim? So there's Lydd over there. Looking at the wind, I think we might have a slight crosswind deal with, but at the end of the day it's not going to be much. When Burning Blue Designs did this scenery, they put quite a lot of detail into it. It does look quite amazing. Do not fret, my little buzzy friend. It's interesting, getting some turbulence now down on the ground here. I like that. Just trim. Trim, 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 trim. Always good to trim. Let's not get too low. So we'll hold it there, put some power back on. We've got a nice speed here. We're certainly below the minimum gear speed, so I'm going to drop the gear now. Have another trim. Just remember, I'm not in a Spitfire. We're not doing a warbird approach. So some more power. Any flapping yet? Turn base. Give it just a little bit of flap now. Prop fully forward. Mixture. Let's put landing lights on. Mixture fully rich. We have got our 3 greens. Back on the power. Almost doing a warbird approach here instead of a nice kind of proper circuit and approach. So we're very high, but that's okay. Chop the power. Let's get all the flaps. Have some trimmeroo. Watch that rate of descent. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. I've got to remember this is a turboprop, not a turboprop. This is a turbo piston. I shouldn't be talking while I'm flying. Okay. Well, let's raise the flap. I gotta say, that wasn't the best landing in the world. But this aircraft felt good. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, it just felt right and felt good on the approach. I came in too high, too fast probably, but the aircraft itself felt right, and it actually feels an awful lot better now. I might be wrong here, so don't necessarily take my word for it, but this aircraft feels nicer in this sim than it did in FSX. It feels smoother, it feels less computer driven on rails, it feels more kind of floaty, like you're actually in the air, and yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Sorry. Unpredictable. Okay, well look, thank you ever so much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed the flight. This wasn't meant to be any kind of full in-depth review. It's just my first impressions, you coming along the flight, and seeing what happens. Let's do the shutdown. Let's do the shutdown. So we got all our flaps retracted. We're going to put the parking brake on. We are going to turn the fuel pump off. We're going to turn all the avionics off. God, how do we do that? It was that wee one there, wasn't it? Bear with me, this might take a while. There we go, and off. Never switched that on anyway. Off on the old GPS, there we go. Propeller's fully forward, throttle is closed, mixture to idle cutoff. That comes down nicely. Nice sound. Legs off. Alternator off. And throttle off. There you go. Get rid of that annoying menu. So, I'll say it again. Thank you very much for coming on board. I hope you enjoyed the flight. And I'll see you here soon. Bye-bye now.